If you haven't watched EastEnders this past year and are looking to find it ahead of the Christmas episode at 7:30 p.m. and 10:35 p.m. on Christmas Day, here's the Casual Viewer's Guide for you. And if you watched last year, you've not touched it since, it's going to be a bit of an update as to what is going to be the main storylines, what's the main focus, and what stuff we'll likely be seeing on Christmas Day. Maybe a bit of speculation in there, but that'll obviously be marked as speculation. This is just the video for you to go ahead and reinforce some of the knowledge you may have, or some of the knowledge that you are yet to have. So hopefully this video is good. Excuse me. Right, so the main topic. The main topic is going to be the Cindy Beale and Junior Knight affair. Now, Piggy, if you'd kindly bring people up to speed on Cindy and Junior. Who is Cindy? Who is Junior? Why are they cheating?
Right, so sit down. This is a love story. Not like Romeo and Juliet, because no one dies in the end, hopefully.
That we know of.
That we know of. Well, one of them was already dead technically, but was brought back to life, like Frankenstein.
That was Cindy Beale.
That was Junior Knight's career. I'm only messing it with Cindy Beale. So to bring you up to speed, Cindy, obviously, just for context, if you don't know, if this is your first time tuning into EastEnders, Cindy Beale was brought back from the dead last year. With
she died in what, 97, 98?
98, I want to say.
Roughly. She's Ian's first proper wife, I believe. Had Stephen, Lucy, and Peter with Ian, and in the end, she cheated on him with Simon Wicks and David Wicks and anybody really. And in the end, tried to get him assassinated and fled to France, but then got sent to prison. Had Cindy Beale Jr. in prison, and seemingly died in childbirth. What we later learned was that she was not undercover; she was in witness protection as she rattled some people, by trying to get Ian killed.
Yeah, that's right. So last year, we figured out that obviously she's back, and we learned that in France she started a new life as Rose Knight. Now in Spain. Oh, I thought it was France. In Spain.
She was in France with Ian.
In Marbella, to be specific. And she had a love affair. Not a love affair. She had a love romance with a guy called George Knight. And George Knight is a former boxer. That's all you really need to know about him at the moment. And they had a lovely life. They had 2 kids, Gina and Anna. And then in 2014, when Nick Cotton Jr., that's Bobby Beale, that's a joke, because I wanted Bobby Beale to be like Nick Cotton, if you couldn't tell. When he killed Lucy Beale, Cindy obviously came back to Walford. But obviously in 2014, they didn't know that. It was a scene added in 2023.
It rattled her closure. It rattled her witness protection. She then had to, because she made a choice to go and try and see Ian and Peter and trying to see Lucy, she ruined her witness protection and therefore had to go into hiding again. But she was no longer able to go back with her family as they'd already figured out where she was. So to protect her daughters and George, they had to go ahead and flee and start their own, go somewhere else.
Yeah, so Cindy returned and has been trying to get in George's pants for the past year, because Ian is about as romancing in the bed as a piece of wood, a piece of plank.
Not even in the bedroom, just in general. He's damp, he's boring, he's wet lettuce, there's nothing interesting. You want a stable, comfortable life where no surprises and no shocks. You're fine with Ian, but Cindy has always wanted something more. She's always wanted something that puts a spring in her step. She wants to just something worth living for, and she doesn't really find that in Ian. And yeah, ever since she came back, her and George, she rekindled a relationship with her girls, and also brought back Peter Beale alongside. Lucy's still dead, Stephen's still dead, Cindy Beale Jr.'s nowhere to be seen. Rekindled a relationship with her girls and got to see George again. And they both harbored this big crush because Cindy fucked off, leaving George and the girls to grow up without a mum. And this also hurt them dramatically, and George with a lot of like kind of a lot of feelings that he hadn't really dealt with because she did leave very suddenly. And so through the year, Cindy's had multiple attempts at trying to seduce George and trying to get the life back that they had in Marbella. But in the same way, he still wanted to, or she still wanted to rekindle things with George, whilst George is with Elaine Peacock, who is also a fairly new character. So, who is Elaine?
I think her name's Harriet Thorpe, was recasted as Elaine Peacock because the original one was just like Liz Thrust in Parliament. She was like a wet lettuce, and the original one, not Elaine, not the new one, the original Elaine. So they recasted Elaine. They brought her in. Elaine is Linda's mum, and she's had a rocky year with Linda. But we'll obviously get to that a bit later on. I'll make that a kind of a side topic at the end for you. How about that? And Elaine has been there for
That would be that much in this Christmas, but yeah.
Yeah. Just to fill them in at the end. I don't have to fucking like do it during the Cindy stuff. It's like too many fucking rectangles spacing together. So obviously Elaine's been with George, but George has been feeling a bit nostalgic. You know, he wants Cindy, but does he really? Like, they have a brief kiss earlier in the year. They have another kiss, and then in comes a man to save George Knight's career. It's George Knight Jr.
And Junior comes on into the scene. I mean, likewise, Elaine and Cindy have had this really fiery relationship back and forth. Cindy keeps on trying to get with George. Elaine has got her own trust issues, which makes her strongly believe that George will go back to Cindy. But you know, George has firmly cemented his love for Elaine. They've gotten married. They've gotten together. And in Cindy constantly being let down by George, she settled for the next best thing, being Junior. Junior, who was introduced earlier in this year as like it was a cool trailer, like, oh, the gloves are off. Whoa, look at them, they're gonna fight. And he's got a lot of daddy issues, as he feels like George didn't really love him as he should have. He didn't really step up as a dad. I mean, he's had a lot of problems. He's wanted to make George pay for what he believes is his rough childhood, and you know, like he feels like he's been mistreated by his dad. And through this year, we've slowly seen them kind of slowly start to reform their relationship. But in the meantime, Junior started to have an affair with Cindy. And the fun bit now is Junior's head over heels in love. Cindy, in a conversation with David Wick, someone she cheated on Ian with before and was going to run away with to France, told him in a recording that was found, and Elaine now knows that it was there. She said, "The only reason I'm sleeping with Junior is because he reminds me of George." Fucking boom! That's going to be the big fucking secret. That's going to be the huge secret. George, June, like, and this, I suppose, just to wrap this round fully, this is what the Christmas Day reveal is going to be. If you think back, probably shades of the Branning Christmas, where Stacey and Max's affair is revealed at the Branning house in front of the family, shocking people silly. This is going to take place in the Queen Vic on Christmas Day. And reading into it, I wouldn't be surprised if Ian has a heart attack. It's been teased pretty heavily that he might genuinely just keel over. I don't think he will, as such, but there's potential. But I don't know. Like I said, this is the key storyline for Christmas, and they announced it, and there was a bit of weird, like, trepidation towards it, as most people kind of like, really? Because it hasn't really felt like there's been a clear direction of where we were going. Last year, you had the Six storyline, which culminated at Christmas, but this year it's kind of been like, oh, is it going to be Reese? No. Is it going to be Nish? No. It's Cindy and Junior's affair. And it's not the most traditional affair setup either. It is two characters, Junior, who hasn't really had much to do other than sleep with Cindy. And Cindy, who hasn't really had much to do other than try and keep her secret affair secret. But let's talk about some of the players who could potentially expose the secret this Christmas Day.
Okay. So we have Kojo, who was also a very new character introduced. He is. Can you give me the specific autism, please?
Specific autism? I don't know. They just say
Neurodivergent.
Neurodivergent, but yeah, Kojo is George's brother who has autism. He went to stay with George. He was living with his brother Kobina in Africa, but he found out that Kobina wasn't really coping with him, so George went, all right, you can live with me. You'll settle into life at the Queen Vic. But yeah, why Kojo took a tumble, and why did he take a tumble?
Because he found out Cindy and Junior were having a little snog fest, and Kojo was very annoyed. He was trying to go up to see Junior, but now I know, like, this
next bit's being debated. It's still being debated now.
Because the problem is just the way it's shot in the dark, right? Right.
They're on the fire exit going up into the Queen Vic.
No, they're not going into the Queen Vic, are they?
Yeah.
They're on the fire exit going into the Queen Vic, and well, he's knocking on the door. And Cindy said, "You could ruin lives, Kojo. You could ruin lives." And Kojo,
with him being autistic, he's kind of more inclined to believe what she's saying, where she is gaslighting him into being, "You'll get in big trouble if you say anything, Kojo." And he's like, I don't want to. And then she even drops the, "You will be sent home." And he goes, "I don't want to be sent home." So flustered.
And well, it's been alluded to that Cindy pimp slapped him off the balcony by accident, or just pushed them by accident, or he just jumped by accident and had a little fall. Like, I know we're not supposed to laugh at this scene, but I genuinely just laughed at it, not because of like the context. It's just the way he falls over it. Like, I generally found it so funny because I remember watching a pyrocynical video, right? And he was like on about slop, which is like, easy farming content. And I obviously brought up EastEnders. And the editor obviously at that time just went, okay, I need a recent clip of EastEnders. And he just put that clip in, which makes it even funnier because most people don't know the context of that clip. So they're watching that video just seeing a man fall over the fucking balcony or jumping over the balcony. And he's fallen over the balcony. He went into hospital. He had a brief coma, and he is now out of hospital. But Cindy has wormed her way and gone, "Kojo, don't you fucking expose it, Kojo. Kojo, do you want to go home? You don't want to go home, do you?" And
I suppose that's where Junior's been kind of softened. His edge has been softened a bit because, as we've said, the difference between Cindy and Junior is Cindy needs a bit of light in her life, and Junior he has fallen in love with Cindy. But obviously Cindy's not interested in a relationship with him. She's with him because he's like George, which will cause so many further daddy issues as a whole, but we'll get to that later. But when these scenes with Kojo, Junior he has a good nephew?
Nephew, yeah.
He is a good nephew. He's like, "Look, all right, I don't know why she said that. That's not true. Your home is here. Your home's with us. We want you here. We love you." And then even then later on, he talks to him like, "Look, I know that you're struggling with a secret, but if you tell it, I'll deal with it. I'm fine. It's fine. But I don't care. Like, I don't want you to be having more problems because of me. It's my fault this happened." So that's where the more sympathetic side So if some people don't think Junior's been particularly well developed, this is the side that is making him a lot more likable in comparison to him just being on the horn 24/7.
Yeah, that's it. And there is another player into this fucking wild mix that is this Christmas, and that is Lauren Beale, Lauren Brannan, whatever you want to call her, the LB and LGBT. So Lauren Brannan has seen Kojo. Well, she hasn't seen Kojo before. She's just seen Kojo on the ground after getting some of medication, liquid medication off Amy Mitchell. Because Amy Mitchell was also paralysed in the crush a few months ago, in August, and so she's obviously getting medication from Amy. And she's like, I'll bring her back to the doctors, don't you worry. But Lauren was also involved in the crush, so she has been dealing with pain issues, a lot of pain, and she's kind of addicted to it. And obviously Cindy's like,
well, she's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So an alcoholic addicted to booze, and addicts are, it's not saying it's a pattern of behavior, but like, if you can abuse something that takes away the pain, you may have been doing the same with alcohol, but then she started doing it with pain medication to try and do it, but she's pregnant.
Yeah, and she's pregnant, and obviously Cindy fucking goes, well, love, don't say anything and I'll give you medication. So they don't say anything.
Yeah, so she is enabling an addict by giving her booze. Or giving her, like, pain meds.
Yes. She's given her painkillers, pain meds, and Cindy's basically blackmailed Lauren until recently. Because when you think this storyline is over, they just keep adding fucking layers upon layers, like it's a Game of Thrones movie or TV show. And they fucking, so Lauren took some medication earlier last week, and wouldn't you know it, she took a few pills, and she had a little accident with fire. As her flat actually, went up in flames because she lit a candle, forgot to put it out, and then it fell and lit the clothes on fire. So yeah, and the reason behind that is because Lauren was trying to talk to Kojo and trying to like get Kojo to reveal his secret that he knows, but obviously Cindy gave her more medication because she found out Lauren was pregnant, and Lauren went, well, look, the doctor said I can still do this, I just need to wean them off. And that's basically what Cindy did to Lauren. And also,
yeah, so enabling an addict, enabling a pregnant addict, and lying to her son. And then when Lauren finally opened up to her family about like being on these pain meds, Cindy went, fucking addict, what are you lying about? Fucking, she'll do anything for a fix, fucking crackheads. Basically, that was her approach of, once again, gaslighting everyone into thinking she's in the right and Lauren's in the wrong, which also, as said before, makes her another person who might reveal the secret.
Yep, and I think
there's two more.
Can you
two
name
slightly lesser ones, and one's my prediction. But yeah, Elaine, they've been at daggers. They have been fighting the entire year for George's love and affection, but Elaine has won the battle. Elaine got Cindy to honey trap George to try and like lure him away the day before their wedding, which caused a lot of trust issues between them. But all in all, it's just kind of been a bitchy cat fight the entire way through. But Elaine is the only one who's heard this recording so far, as it was recorded by Freddie and Anna's birdwatching recorder, and she's heard the entire confession. Now, will she reveal it? I don't think so. That's a prediction. I don't think Elaine will be the one to reveal it. I don't think Lauren will be the one to reveal it. I don't think I don't think Kojo will be the one to reveal it. I think who's going to reveal the secret at Christmas is going to be Junior. That's my prediction. Junior, once again, he's been characterized as an unlucky in love. He keeps getting in his way. He's too proud to admit what he wants. He's too he can't let himself fully go. But he has with Cindy, and he does feel like, and it does seem like he is in love with her. But as said before, Cindy's not in love with him. And I think that perhaps Elaine will go to Junior and tell him, like, I've heard this confession. It's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. And I do think that Junior will be the one to play the USB tape in a fit of rage, in a way to embarrass and humiliate Cindy, and kind of not really care who he hurts in the way, because ultimately he thought he was in love, and it turns out that she was just using him for sex. Because once again, he's like his dad.
I should mention, even though this comes out tomorrow on Christmas Eve, we have not seen this 23rd episode. The episode that airs on Monday, we've only seen up to last Friday. So feel free to correct us in the comments, please.
Oh yeah, and I suppose as the other bit that's maybe been teased is Phil Mitchell will struggle with idealizing dying this Christmas. He has been getting lonelier and lonelier throughout the year. He's been isolating himself from it through his family. His relationships have split up. His kids don't want anything to do with him. And earlier in the year, we saw him sat at the head of his table with nobody surrounding it, as Ben's in prison, Luis is in Portugal, like Peggy's dead, Ronnie and Roxy gone. So Billy, Teddy, and the new Mitchells are his only family left, and he's so far from being on good terms with them. So it has been announced and teased that he will think about ending his life this Christmas, which will be a hard one to watch for sure, because Phil Mitchell and Steve McFadden as an actor is tremendous. But that is what is pretty much going to be happening this Christmas. What do we think the potential ramifications of the affair being revealed is? How will Cindy still stay on the show whilst having her entire family hate her?
She will somehow stay on the show. I don't know how. At the moment, I can't tell you, because I have no fucking clue. I'm going to be honest.
I'd argue that someone I wouldn't be surprised if there's a return of some form. I'm not going to suggest who it may be, but somewhere like a return that someone who doesn't know Cindy's recent history, and someone who may not even really know who Cindy is. And she'll get with them, and they'll set up, and they'll take all the flack together. And I think that's how she, similar to a cockroach, will stay on the square despite being thrown out of the Beals, being thrown out of the Knights, and being nowhere near Junior.
Yeah, and to continue on, I think this Christmas though will be a fun one. I don't think it's boring. But if you're going to expecting this, like it's going to be like Stacey and Max 07, or to a lesser extent 2018 with Haley and Alfie, I had to get that one in there, Ash. I had to. You might be a bit more happier with the if you compare it to the 2018 one, because no one likes that one. But if you're comparing it to the 07 one, please don't, because it's like comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah, it's a different time. I think it's going to be a much more down-to-earth Christmas. This one, it's not going to be as explosive. I think this year the explosive is going to come at New Year. It's going to come ahead of the 40th anniversary. But obviously this will be Chris Clenshaw, the executive producer's last Christmas, and I can't believe he's not going to send it off with a bang. So, let's be honest, there will probably be a shock return. Let's just fully cement that on the table. People are theorizing maybe Max returns, because Lauren is pregnant with a baby. Annie's been struggling with having Linda as a mum. There's a lot of potential ramifications for if Max were to return. Jack's marriage in tatters. the Brannings, Penny's recent arrival. There's a lot of good stuff that Max Branning would come back to and return. And who would be the perfect character to come back and find a downtrodden Cindy and not ask too many questions? Well, it's Walford's original man slut. Walford's original Max Branning, who will happily swoop up Cindy and whisper sweet nothings into her ear immediately. But I'd imagine it's, like I said, it's the Christmas before the 40th anniversary. They want to establish something really big, and that's why this Christmas may be slightly more understated than what we may have expected, and especially in comparison to the Six stuff last year. But I do think it will be a surprisingly good one.
Yeah, and I think that's where we leave it. That is also very quickly about the Linda stuff. Even though she's not involved this Christmas, I feel like I should just give her flowers as well. Linda, post the Six, has been, let's say, not so nice to people. She's become a bit of an alky. Became an alcoholic again, dabbled into the alcohol business, and she's been drinking herself to death. We got the reintroduction of Elaine last year to help Linda run the pub, but that didn't go so well. And Elaine has kind of been butting heads with Linda. Linda has been drinking, and Elaine couldn't deal with it, so she sent in someone. He's the man known as the sausage. I don't know why my voice broke there. But she sent in Johnny Knight. Not Johnny Knight, Johnny Carter. To recast it again. And Johnny has been dealing with Linda's bullshit. And that was a major play up until was it last week? Last week, I believe. Where, obviously, Linda had the ghost of Christmas past. She dreamt her future. And it was so bleak, bruv, that she gave up alcohol. And we got a Lee and Nancy return, but it was in a dream sequence. So, yeah. Anything you want to say on this storyline?
It's just it's fairly interesting stuff. Like I said, I don't think she's going to be a particularly big addition to Christmas. I think she'll be at the dinner table, but oh no, isn't she at rehab?
She's at rehab. I just wanted to bring her up.
Okay, but yeah, Linda is seemingly on the up this Christmas, having a rough start but a good finish. I do think her storyline and her time on the show as a whole will be wrapping up as of the 40th anniversary.
And I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy. And we will see you on Christmas Day at 7:30 and at 10:35, maybe 5-10 minutes earlier, for the live stream reactions on Christmas Day. Santa Piggy will be there, and Ash, the normal elf man, will be there. We're still working on a Christmas name for Ash, and I hope you enjoy watching Christmas with us. So thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow for the reactions live. See you in the next one. Bye bye.